Hey guys, I'm Logan with Hydra 572, and today we're going to be reviewing another one of my dad's knives, the Kershaw Scallion. Now, if knives are your thing, you probably know this is a popular, what I would call entry-level knife, and if you're looking for a short version of the review, there's a reason it's so popular, and it's because Kershaw is basically putting on a clinic on what a small EDC knife needs to be. So with that said, we will start at the tip, and we'll just move back toward the handles. And yes, here we go. Now the blade is 420 high carbon, which is a little bit of a difficult steel to discuss because it certainly isn't a bad steel, but it only has such a good reputation because Buck does an amazing heat treatment on it and Kershaw doesn't have that. So for a knife in this price range, I'd like to see 440C for hardness or 8CR13 for sharpenability. And this particular one has a bead blast, and I hate bead blast. It rusts easier than most other finishes, so you might want to consider getting a coated one. Now you can see the blade doesn't have the holes that the newer versions have on the reverse side of the blade that you guys aren't seeing right now. This knife says 04 on it. I'm not sure if this knife was made or purchased in 04, but it does say that. You guys can see it's a difficult profile to sharpen with a curved edge, and it's a shallow hollow grind. For the size though, it's got a nice deep edge grind, and it is a thick blade stock for such a small knife, and I like to see that. Now the handles are a glass-filled nylon, which isn't bad for me, but it might be bad for people with left hands. As you can see, the pocket clip is going to take away a lot of the grip that would offer on the left side of the knife, and it doesn't have any movable position, so you can't switch it onto the other side or reverse it top to bottom. So that's a little bit too bad. The grip is just about too small. I'll say it's fine for me, but if you've got any bigger hands than mine, it might be a problem. The jimping on the back of the knife isn't really going to help a lot. It's a nice touch, but it could be more aggressive. Same thing with the choil. I'm not convinced that it won't stop your hand from sliding forward. The back spacer, I couldn't find anything on. It's probably just a plastic. The hardware is fine. It does have the markings. Hopefully you guys can just read those on the blade. And it does have a lanyard hole. Ergonomically, I think the knife is fine. I've used it a little bit and haven't gotten any hot spots. I haven't done any huge testing on this knife just because it is my dad's and I didn't want to abuse it, but I've watched other people's reviews and they seem to think the same things that I was thinking after using it for a little bit, so I was happy with my opinions on it. So this knife has Kershaw's speed safe deployment with a flipper and dual thumb studs. The dual thumb studs will get the blade out with a little bit more of a jolt to your hand, and after years this knife is still coming out quick. Make sure if you're going to use the flipper to use downward pressure, not inward. If you use inward pressure, you could possibly impede the knife from opening by sticking your finger into the spot that the blade needs to rotate through. So I'll make a little clip showing you guys what that would look like. It's difficult to do, but it is possible, so I thought I'd mention it. So you've got your little tip lock here. Perplexingly, you can't switch sides on it. You are restricted to just the one side. Seems a little bit backward for a knife that's being made these days, but oh well. So then you have your thumb studs, which you shouldn't have a problem with. What I was talking about with the flipper is if you push inward, you can stop the blade from opening all the way, but you basically have to be trying to sabotage it opening, so I don't think anyone will have an issue with it. It does open real easy if you just down, pull your finger away. And as I said, the thumb studs will get the blade out a little bit quicker and you'll feel a little bit more kick in your hand. So ultimately I think it's cool that they included the safety. It's a little bit bizarre that you can't reverse the pocket clip or the safety, but I'm not usually into spring assisted knives, but I think with both the thumb studs and the flipper this should be fine. And yeah, I think it's a cool opening system. So the lockup itself is fine. It's got a little bit of side-to-side play, but no front-to-back play. The blade play certainly isn't a problem for me. The liner is well recessed. I'm not afraid I'm going to open it up when I'm handling the knife. It is a little bit slim for me, and it's made out of 410, so I'm not rushing to abuse this knife, especially with things like stabbing. The liners aren't skeletonized, which is fine. This is a small knife and doesn't weigh much to begin with, so I wouldn't see a reason to skeletonize them. Overall, I think it's a really cool knife for $32. The little nitpicky complaints I have aside, you won't scare sheeple and you'll have a nice little EDC blade. It's got good ergonomics, It's a small profile, it's lightweight, and it's very effective per dollar. I really do feel like Kershaw is giving a clinic on what an EDC blade should be like. If they ironed out some of the kinks, this would be a really spectacular blade. So yeah, if you guys are wondering whether you should pick one up, I definitely recommend it. I just want to remind you guys, we do have a Facebook page now. I'll leave that down in the description box, and we're going to be releasing our fun things early there, probably right after I finish editing them. So if you guys enjoy the fun things, or if you just want to see those, go ahead and like us on Facebook and you'll get early access to that. And speaking about fun things, the fun thing at the end of this video, Chad and I and his dad got a hold of some liquid nitrogen, and so we recorded us experimenting and having fun with that. So we hope you guys enjoy that. Yes, ready?
Oh, it did!
Don't break his driveway.
You missed.
Okay, Felix.
Oh, poor apple. Oh. No, you should
Go.
Where'd it go?
Elsewhere.
Disappeared.
Byzantium.